Coming to suffocation, it is defined as a type of mechanical asphyxia which is caused because of lack of oxygen in the environment or by obstruction of the passage of air into the lungs, causing occlusion, excluding those causing constriction of the neck and drowning. So coming to the types of suffocation, there are external means of obstruction of the external orifices, or you can have the obstruction of the internal orifices such as the oropharynx or the nasopharynx. So externally you can have closure of the mouth and nostrils, and this can be either by the use of a pillow, clothing, or some form of sand, mud, or even other forms of the closure of the mouth and nostril with objects that prevent the entry of the air into the airway. In such case, it is called as smothering or overlaying. You can have a obstruction of the chest movement by causing a pressure over the chest. Example of this is traumatic asphyxia. For example, in road traffic accidents, when the chest gets compressed against the steering wheel, then there is prevention of expansion of the chest, resulting in traumatic asphyxia. Internal, wherein there is obstruction of the mouth or glottis. Example of this is gagging, where there is a piece of cloth or other food bolus which gets stuck in the oropharynx. Or you can have closure within the airways such as choking. Example is the closure of the oropharynx or prevention of the air entry beyond that of the nasopharynx by presence of some external object in the airway. Last is environmental, where the environmental air is lacking the oxygen supply because of the presence of some form of toxic gases or because of the fact that there is decreased oxygen supply in the air of the environment in which the individual is present. Example for this is high altitudes where the oxygen level gets decreased. Coming to smothering, this is a form of suffocation where the death is caused by closure of the mouth and nostrils, as already spoken, by clothing such as a towel or a pillow or even pressing the face against the mattress. It can be either by the obstruction from mud or sand, especially in cases of drowning, where the mud or sand first goes and gets the obstruction of the mouth and nostril, and then it prevents the further entry of air into the airways. Or it can be done manually by the use of the hands. It is normally done in the weak or debilitated persons such as the infants and elderly who are the victims, because they can be easily overpowered by the individual. So if you see here, you can see that the woman is trying to smother the individual by the use of a handkerchief or a cloth by closing the mouth and the nostril. So there are two forms here. One is a pillow which is being used to smother the individual. The other is manually by the use of the hand to close the nostrils and the mouth. So this is a form of a typical homicidal smothering. So normally there is a physical disparity between the victim and the assailant, where the assailant is stronger than the victim so that it is easy for the assailant to smother the victim. This is normally seen in incapacitated victims who are incapacitated either by means of drugs, head injury, or by the intake of alcohol. Usually the mouth and the nostrils are closed by hand or by some form of object such as a pillow or the bed or mattress. The assailant uses more force than required in order to quieten the victim and to make the victim unconscious by smothering them. Hence, some form of injury is always seen around the mouth, face, lips, nostrils, and also over the other parts of the face. So here we can see that the individual who is the assailant here is smothering. So this is the assailant here, is smothering this person by the use of a pillow. And because there is some form of struggle where the victim is trying to free himself from the assailant, injuries can be seen over the assailant from the victim as well as over the victim's face, such as over the mouth, nostrils, and over the lips.